I got to go to Toys for Bob. Here's what happened. What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and I am back after an amazing trip to Toys for Bob. While I was live streaming a work stream, I had gotten the email from my PR rep at Activision. The headline had said, "Invitational to Toys for Bob," and then my phone died. Here was my live reaction on the stream. What just happened to my email? I need to, I need to take a quick break, guys. I'll be back later. Oh, something. I just got an email for something. I'll be back. Now, I had to keep calm as I knew I was not allowed to say anything, as this would be protected under an NDA. It was quite hard to contain all the excitement. So they flew me from little old Canada to California. There was so much Spyro stuff everywhere, and it was fantastic. We got to go to 4 stations. Each one had a lead head of Toys for Bob there. Paul Yan, the co-studio head of Toys for Bob, Peter Kavik, senior producer, Josh Nadelberg, head of art, and the audio lead, Stefan Vankov. Each one talked to us about the different aspects of developing the Reignited trilogy. So, let's get right into it. Let's start with Paul Yan. Paul Yan talked to us a lot about Spyro when he was originally being developed by Insomniac. We got to look at original level designs that Insomniac had, sketches and everything, all done in pencil from the original development team. When Spyro was being pitched, it was initially supposed to be something similar to a first-person shooter that would allow the player to fly. In another stage of production, Spyro's name was thrown around. The most common that we know of in the public was Pete, but at one point, Spyro's name was Pierre. Insomniac originally was heavily inspired by Bart Simpson and initially was going for the direction for Spyro to be a prankster and a bit of a jerk. But Insomniac felt that it was quite annoying once it was performed, so they toned it right down in the final version. However, many aspects of that prankster personality still seep through.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him!
When Spyro 2 came along, Insomniac decided to veer away from that prankster type and decided to alter Spyro's personality. In doing this, they also decided to change the voice actor to Tom Kenny, which Insomniac felt was a better fit, and Tom Kenny became the fan favorite. Paul also showed us how Spyroscope worked, and it was quite amazing. Seeing the placement of the gems, the paths of enemies, the vertexes of the stage, and polygons. So much of this information was there. Paul had mentioned that this tool was made in 1 month by one programmer, and I have to say, that is absolute talent. Now, on to Peter Kavik. Peter talked a lot about fan reception. They had massive pieces of fan art pinned up, along with so many emails and tweets from fans. He talked a lot about fan reception and the passion that the team has had for the game, and the number of Spyro mega fans within the studio working on this project. There were times where people would ask if they could take a crack at a specific dragon or character with sketches and drawings and concept, and they have it already drawn up and ready before the producer would even say yes. This is truly from fans to fans. I had asked Peter about the skill points and that if they were not achievements, then what were they used for? He smiled and showed us that skill points actually unlock pieces of concept art in each game. Each skill point you get, the more concept art you unlock, a feature that I felt was very cool. Now, the next area we went to was Josh Nadelberg, the head of art. Now, I do not know what Josh had in this coffee this morning because I could barely keep up with him. However, his energy was infectious, and by the end of his time, I had a giant smile on my face that was hurting. Granted, I was at Toys for Bob Studio, so I mean, that's really exciting in itself. Now, Josh showed us concept art, early and final, but also gameplay. Of course, I could not record footage, but here's a few things that I noticed and saw. One of the things that Josh talked about was the opening cinematics for Spyro 2. See, they loved them, but some of them were a bit clouded and confusing and not quite clear what exactly the gag was. Paul Yan earlier showed us the example that we have already seen with Colossus. At times, certain aspects of these cinematics are altered and adjusted because sometimes it didn't really make sense to the viewer or even Toys for Bob. An example is the outro to the Hurricos level. In the original, the Electrals catch the gear grinder and celebrate. When they go to high five, the one just slaps the other in the back of the head. Now, this isn't clear as to why he would slap them. Was it on purpose? Did he do it because he couldn't see? There are a few questions here. So in the trailer, as you can see, they now just simply high five. Now, one outro that we all wanted to see is the classic and most dark out of all of them, Magma Cone. Now, I'm not going to spoil it, but it was adjusted. But there is still murder involved. It's still dark, but it's made more clear. You no longer ask the main question of, but why did he kill him? It all makes sense now. The Peacekeeper Norks, I'm happy to report, still boon you. So yeah, the Nork booty has been officially 100% confirmed with my eyes. I've seen it myself. Dragon Shores looks shockingly good. Also, Bentley's Ice Club is borderline way too ridiculously big. It's kind of hilarious. Sergeant Bird is adorable and has big flippers for feet, and it looks like he's about to trip over them. The fodder now interact with you as well. When you go to Sunny Beach, you can stand by the starfish and they will float up to you and have giant hard eyes for Spyro. If you go to Clifftown and you stand by the running lizards, they will eventually run up to you and just scream at you. It's kind of hilarious. Even the fodder has been given the same tender love and care that even the dragons got. Next up, we went to the audio master himself, Stefan Vankoff. He went on to explain how the dynamic tracks were made. I'll make it a visual for you guys as well so that you can understand. The first track is the bass track. So this is the track that plays through the level, just like the originals. However, there is a parallel track playing underneath it, but it is muted. This is the more calm and synthetic track that you hear when the player has not moved Spyro for 7 seconds. After 7 seconds, the bass track fades out and the calm track fades in. Once Spyro moves, however, it switches back to the original. Now, when Spyro charges, a quick pitter-patter of drums is added and the music quickens ever so slightly, so you don't quite hear it, but you more feel it. Then, when Spyro enters a building, a slight reverb effect is added to the music to make it sound like the music is slightly bouncing off the walls and playing outside the building. Now, the last thing I thought that was really cool was Stefan explained that sometimes there would be a 3-minute track, and if you were in the level for like 20 to 30 minutes, you would hear the same track over and over and over again. So, if you stay for a certain amount of time in a level, the music will actually slightly adjust. So the drums might be quieter on the 4th playthrough and the bass is louder. Or maybe the synth is a tad different and the guitar is slightly quieter. It's to make the sound ever so slightly different so that you don't hear the exact same track 10 times through the level. It adds just a little bit of diversity. After we had talked with the leads from Toys for Bob, we then were escorted into the back room and we got to play an exclusive look at Dino Mines. Me and a few other YouTubers and a bunch of other media outlets got to get our hands on this level, and it was so much fun. Still difficult, still hard, but still a lot of fun. I also got to actually try the E3 build with Treetops and Toasty. They also had the Gamescom build there as well, where you could play Stonehill, Idle Springs, and Sunny Villa. So that was just some of the things that I saw and heard while I was at Toys for Bob. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because I have an exclusive interview with Peter Kavik coming up. Now, what's so special about it? Well, I asked Peter your questions. That's right, from the fans to one of the creators. I asked him questions that many of you have asked over on Twitter. So go follow me there while you're at it. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Cue the extra.